need to exercise. If you don't, you'll die. You don't need to go any deeper than that. If you don't exercise, you're dead.
Receive the introduction from one of my favourite podcasts of all time. I literally, when I used to work at Amazon, that is the only podcast I used to listen to, just non-stop. I'd listen to the same episode like 100 times sometimes, no lie. I'd be on the break just playing it. It'd finish, I'd play it, it'd finish, I'd play it again. We're talking about health in this video, and essentially what I'm doing right now, where I've come from with my health, like the different mindset shifts I've gone through as I've progressed on my health journey. We brought the cool glasses back. Soon they're going to be Cartier, but right now it's just some ones I found on the floor when I was hiking last week. Eating is a really funny one. This is one example. When I say health, I'm talking about a holistic approach. So, you know, sleep, maintaining a routine, positive habits, like everything, what comes, like supplementation, skincare routine, right? So when I'm talking about health, I'm talking about everything, right? But I'm going to start with food and how it's kind of a funny one. Like growing up, believe it or not, I was that kid who only ate one food, being like chicken nuggets, right? So literally, I swear to God, let me turn the heating down. I swear to God, I ate nothing but chicken nuggets, I want to say, for at least 6 months, which maybe isn't that long, but it shows how I saw food when I was younger, you know. I forget what people call those kind of, I don't know if it's autism or whatever, but yeah, I was very scared of a lot of different foods. Like I literally remember being scared of raisins, which is literally just sugar, right? And I remember my brother putting some out on the desk for me to eat, and I was just terrified. And after I ate it, I was like, it just tastes like sugar. Like, why have I been scared all this time? Or one example, when I was eating McDonald's when I was like maybe 7 years old, and it tastes good. I was like, man, what's this nice taste that I'm experiencing? And then I don't know if it was one of my brothers who was like, it's tomato sauce. I was like, because in my head I'm scared of tomato sauce. So when I found out tomato sauce was on that burger, even though it was the thing that was making the burger nice, I spat the thing out in like fear. I was like, oh my God, like, no, this is horrible. Like, no, can't believe it. I feel betrayed. So that's where I'm coming from with my food paradigm. I remember a different period when I was like getting more conscious of what I was eating. But the hard thing about getting conscious about what you're eating is everything's healthy, right? Like no matter where you look, you're going to find confirmation bias for what it is you've chosen to eat is healthy. Like you look at some articles, they say brown bread's healthy, some say white bread's healthy, some say eggs are healthy. Anywhere you look, you're going to find confirmation towards what it is you've decided to eat. So my diet, and I was even promoting this on Instagram. Well, in fact, let me go a little bit further back before that. I remember giving this self-improvement thing a crack. Like a serious crack when I was like 16 years old. I was just starting my modelling, seeing about people like Iman Gadzi when he first got started, right, just before he even started business. So he was still doing like gym stuff, and I'm watching stuff like that. I'm hearing people talking about reading and the importance of it, and so I started trying to pick up the habits of reading. I remember buying like 16 books when I was like 16 years old. The mind management, the monkey, what's it called? Like the mind management book, and the one with the monkey on the cover photo. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School. I remember picking up Richard Branson's like a Virgin. There's loads of other books I picked up. Most of them I didn't even finish. The ones that I did finish, I didn't retain. It was a funny time, and essentially why I'm saying that is because I remember trying to go through this period. But I also remember not having the willpower to like finish the books, commit to my higher self, if you like. I remember being kind of aware of there's a higher self what does the right things, and a lower self what in my case back then was like watching adult content, slacking off, like going on social media binges. So there's like these two separate people, and I get to choose who I'm serving, but it's so hard to serve my higher self because I just didn't have the energy or the willpower. And if we pull back the curtain to what I was eating back then, I remember drinking like loads of coffee because I thought if I just have the focus, it's fine. Like, you know, forget the food itself. I just need caffeine. I just need to focus. I think I was just eating like, I want to say my breakfast sandwiches. So essentially it was like ham, eggs and white bread, right? And so I'd eat that first thing in the morning, which, you know, retrospectively is a complete blood sugar spike. And essentially by the time it gets to about noon, I'm completely blown out. I've got zero energy and I don't have enough willpower to get anything done, so I'm essentially just resorting to the path of least resistance, which was just going on social media binges. But the murky thing was I was a social media content producer as well, so I could kind of use excessive social media consumption as an excuse for like gaining inspiration or something. But I knew deep down I was just slacking off because I didn't have the willpower to do anything else. So diet, for me, this is a little bit of an introduction to the point that diet plays a huge role, I feel like, into getting stuff done. Because if you're anything like me, it's hard to do the work when you don't feel good. I know everybody preaches, ignore your feelings, blah, 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 but at the end of the day, if I wake up and I don't feel good, it's going to be an uphill battle to go through the day. So how I battle that is I just make sure I feel good over time. And how I feel good over time is I focus on, eating the right thing. Right now, I am, let's go back, like when I remember being at work and feeling like I have superpowers, right? I'm working at Amazon now, I'm like 20 years old, and I literally feel like Superman, right? I feel like Spider-Man, in fact, because we've got the Spider-Man glasses on. I remember people literally paying attention to how much energy I was excreting when I was at work. I was like, because we have a leaderboard at work, so when you're working, every item you like process, you get a point on the leaderboard, and it's like a game, right? And so essentially I was first every day, is what I'm trying to say, by miles. So I was doing way more work than like the other 100 people who are in that warehouse. And that's in my department. There's like 500 people working at any given moment at Amazon. And essentially I was always first for my department by miles. And I was breaking records and stuff, right? Like records for the whole of the building, records for Europe, and you can even see who's playing in Europe as well. So you can see England, you can see your FC fulfillment center, you can see all of England, where you rank in all of England, and you can see where you rank in all of Europe, right? And some days I was first in Europe. I just feel like I've got infinite amount of energy. I leave work after giving my all to work. I'm first, I'm better than everybody else, I'm faster, I'm more efficient than everybody else. And then I'm going to the gym, putting my heart out in the gym as well. This is working night shifts, by the way. So I'm working 7 p.m. till 5:30 a.m. And then I'm getting to the gym at 5:30. I'm getting out of the gym for like 6. It's just a quick session, but it's an intense session. I get home, I do everything I need to do. I go to sleep, I wake up, I do it all over again.
I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep.
But the thing is, I've got so much energy. When it comes to going to bed at night, I'm just like kind of restless because I'm like, man, I just want to go again. I've got infinite amount of energy. And so if we compare that, me here, literally Spider-Man, if you compare me here and compare me at 16, who just couldn't do the work whatsoever, like he was hopeless, right? I was eating very weird, and you know what, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be 100% transparent. I don't actually eat like how I was during that period when I felt like I literally had so much energy. Say you're to drink too much caffeine and you get that stimulated head rush. That's how much energy I had every single day, I'm not lying. And what my diet was, it was keto, first of all. I had 0 carbs, and then I was eating like macadamia nuts, dark chocolate, like macadamia nuts, dark chocolate, and maybe a few other things, like really specific, really strange things, right? And I do this thing what I got from Dr. Gundry, where essentially take like pistachios, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts, walnuts, and pine nuts, I swear. You mix them together, put some olive oil on top, and then you like season it, and then you just eat it all raw, right? And so that's what I was doing as well, and eating like shiitake mushrooms and different mushrooms, portobello, portobellini, chestnut mushrooms, and that's what the diet was essentially. And I remember just having so much energy. It wasn't sustainable, but I started to feel weak eventually. But what I'm trying to say is I feel like the secret to that excess amount of energy was the complete abstinence of carbohydrates. And this is why I literally had that epiphany maybe last week. I was like, why did I have so much energy during that period? And why is it I'm feeling quite sluggish now in present tense? Like I'm doing the work, but I don't feel my best. And I was like, wait, ketosis. So I've decided in present tense, like right now I'm in keto again. Right now my diet looks really crazy. I don't think it's sustainable, but where I'm at right now is I'm eating a kilo of like minced beef and offal, which essentially is like, you get the steak, I'm looking at the Porsche, you get this red Porsche actually, and red and black matches the glasses. So my diet right now is a kilo of minced beef, 20% fat with offal, so it's 80% beef steak minced, and then it's like 10% beef liver and beef heart. because obviously beef liver and beef heart is really nutrient dense. It's got vitamin B3, which is good for ADHD and good for focus and good for memory. That's another bloody Porsche. Yeah, that is what I'm eating for that. And then I'm eating like 4 beef burgers, which is just beef steak, all grass fed, all completely clean. And that's what I'm eating right now. And you know, it's not really sustainable, but how I look at eating is just this big science experiment. So I'm always, like, you can ask anybody around me, so like my girlfriend, I'm always experimenting with food, and I'm experimenting with like little niche different subtopics and frameworks, if you like. Like right now, the framework I'm following is Eat Right for Your Type, which is a book where essentially you're supposed to eat based on foods what benefit your blood type, because apparently all different blood types metabolize foods in different manners. Like my blood type is type O. I found out because I got a blood test kit from Amazon. My girlfriend is a blood type A. My mum's a blood type O, blah, blah, blah. And according to that book, essentially what is good for my blood type is meat. You can eat as much meat as you want with my blood type, and then like intense exercise is good for me and blah blah blah. I took from that I should just go keto and do keto carnivore, rather than, you know, when I was bouncing off the walls with energy before. I was actually a vegetarian back then, and I hadn't ate meat in several months. So almost over a year actually I hadn't ate meat, versus now I'm literally eating only meat. And like I was saying before, the funny thing about food and eating in general is just that, you know, there's confirmation bias for anything. Someone over there is going to tell you do keto, someone's going to tell you eat paleo, vegetarian, do vegan, it's bad for the environment, paleo is how our ancestors ate, carnivore is good for this, bulletproof coffee. There's all sorts of different stuff, right? Like, I haven't actually cracked the code yet when it comes to food. I'm sorry guys, I know I'm quite extensive with my approach to life, but I still haven't cracked the code with food yet. People, you know, people say eggs are good for you, but when I eat eggs I always feel bad and they make me smell, right? So I don't like eggs and I don't eat eggs. And according to the Eat Right for Your Type book, eggs is bad for eggs is bad for my blood type. It's very cult-like, so you've got to be careful when it comes to eating foods and stuff like that. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes, more often than not, I do think about having pizzas. Pizza's like my favourite junk food on earth, right? And sometimes I still do have cheat days. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I am keto 24/7. Like, maybe last month I had like an XXL meat feast stuffed crust domino pizza, and I didn't regret it, right? 4,000 calories in one fell swoop. And I feel like sometimes when I've, you know, what I do is I follow paradigms when it comes to eating. I'll follow a paradigm, I'll follow it, and then I'll be like, okay, this is stupid, and I'll just ditch the paradigm. And then I get back to this grey area where it's like, you know, going back to the habit cue. Cue, I'm hungry. Action, I will follow my framework. Reward, I'm satiating, I'm getting the energy I want, I'm getting what it is I'm seeking out of food. But when I break that paradigm, so the action's gone, it goes back to that grey area. Cue, I'm hungry. Action, there isn't a framework for me to follow, so I kind of just do whatever at the end of any time I've broken a different framework. So I ended up eating Domino's just the other day because I was following a different framework. I was following Eat Right for Your Type, but I'd like ran out of food for the week, so I was like, do I go to the shop right now, get more food, even though it's not grass-fed, because, you know, I order my food grass-fed online? Am I going to go to the shop and get like meat what's not grass-fed, or am I just going to have a cheat day? So I just ended up having a cheat day essentially, right? You know, the habit loop broke, the action wasn't there, so that I just replaced the action with like what my bottom line baseline is, which is just to eat junk food, like how I did when I was younger, right? I just used to eat whatever I wanted, and I thought I was immune and bulletproof. I was like, I can eat whatever I want, and you know, I did stay thin and whatever else. What paid the price was my ability to focus and my stamina. Like, I couldn't run to save my life, which is a little bit random, right? And I couldn't focus on absolutely anything. I couldn't get any form of work done. So that was the price I was paying when I was eating junk food. And I know some people out there, like, they're using it as an excuse to eat what they want, because they've got that friend who eats what he wants and seems to be unbothered by it. Like, you know, people have a lot of hold-ups when it comes to really committing to eating healthy. And, you know, like, oh, my friend eats fine, and, you know, my friend eats junk and he's just fine. But, you know, people pay the price in different ways, right? There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score or something like that. I haven't read it, but it's just a relevant title for the point I'm trying to drill home right now. So yeah, it's just an experiment when it comes to food, man, honestly. Right now I'm keto carnivore, and you know, the books I have read, from like Dr. Gundry's teachings to Eat Right for Your Type, in fact, I'm going to exclude that book. I've looked at the summary of a lot of different food books. I haven't read many, I'm not going to lie, maybe only 2. I've always put off reading about food. I don't know why it is. It's one of them topics what I kind of avoid, so I definitely need to deep dive on it. come up with a framework what just it works for me, right? I know a lot of people say, like even Dr. Gundry, when I used to listen to his teachings, he used to preach about how basically the worst food for you is red meat, and how every society throughout the world who, you know, they call them blue zone areas where people live really long times, all the people in the blue zone areas, like the common trait amongst all of these people is that they don't eat red meat. And that is iffy to me right now, as I eat only red meat, and I'm thinking about that. Like, that's in the back of my mind anytime I eat my diet. But also the common theme is like following my framework of eat right for your type, and everybody having a different blood type. Maybe everybody in these blue zone areas just have a different blood type what opposes against red meat. Like according to the Eat Right For Your Type book, my girlfriend, the worst thing she could eat is red meat, and how essentially that would like destroy her body over time if she was to eat red meat. That's the food paradigm aspect of things. I want to talk about sleep as well, and essentially when it comes to this whole topic and, you know, doing the work, I feel like the most important thing is biochemistry, which is like how you're treating your body, how you're sleeping, and how you're just going about, how you're oiling the engine and what fuel you're feeding yourself, right? I think it's the most important thing, and obviously this is the physical side of things, you got the mental side of things, and it's a funny one, and there's going to be a lot of hang-ups. Like people will be like, oh, like what about Winston Churchill? Like I'm pretty sure if we look at Winston Churchill, like he wasn't following a very restrictive framework diet like how I am, right? And yet he was considered a genius, read over 5,000 books, very prolific man, achieved a lot in his life. Henry Kissinger as well, for example, super smart guy, was a professor at Harvard, ended up being Secretary of State, like super intellectually left brain smart guy, and yet he's pictured eating pizza and just kind of just doing whatever he wants, eating however he wants, right? So, you know, I feel like intellect and stuff like that is a part of your genetic makeup. Like some people are just naturally left brain and they're naturally intelligent, just like how I'm naturally right brain and I'm naturally emotionally intelligent and naturally willful, right? So genetics plays a huge part when it comes to this, but I feel like following a framework like this is going to be helpful. And this is what I mean, like there's a lot of paradoxes when it comes to the eating side of things. Like I have a lot of hang-ups myself still. I'm just like, sometimes it's not even what's the point, sometimes I should just eat whatever, like does it even matter? But like I said, before I start forming any concrete decisions, I definitely do want to read on this topic first. I want to read at least 20 books on food before I even start acting like I've got an opinion on it. And so that's food. And what I do for my sleep, and I'm not going to lie also, this is like a do as I say, not what I do kind of thing, paradoxically right now, because my sleep pattern's been kind of all over the place. I haven't been able to sleep consistently. I haven't been sleeping consistently. I've been sleeping at a different time, like basically every night. The body is definitely playing a score, I feel like, but it's one of them things where when you get out of the habit of it, it's just like, oh, like it's not that important, so you kind of just push it off. But I definitely do need to get back into the swing of things with that. I do want to talk about my supplementation though, because my nighttime routine sleep supplement stack, that's a mouthful, is very extensive, right? I'm going to put some B-roll. I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but I'm going to put some B-roll. I do use glycine, I do use taurine, I do use melatonin from time to time. Not every day, it's not necessary, and I've noticed that it makes me sleep less long, and I only really use it when I'm like shifting sleep patterns a lot, or if I want to get up at a certain amount of time, for sure that's when I will use melatonin. We've got GABA, taurine. I use CBD oil sometimes, not all the time. I use lemon balm, valerian root, chamomile, hops, passion flower. Is there any I'm missing? For that, I use ashwagandha as well. And that's pretty much it for my nighttime stack. And 5-HTP, how can I not forget? That's like the most important one for me. That just makes me feel good more often than not. And essentially I'm using these nighttime sleep routines. Every single one plays a different role, right? And I've done a lot of experimenting with them. Like I feel like glycine makes me stay asleep during the night. Ashwagandha makes me wake up feeling, feeling light, and you know, I feel like they all play in synchronicity to make a really nice experience when it comes to sleep. And I've experimented like not having any supplements sometimes. What I have noticed when I don't take any supplements is I sleep a lot longer, and it's just I don't wake up feeling as good, I don't feel as focused, I don't feel as energetic. But it might seem a bit excessive what I'm doing. That's the nighttime routine. And you got to remember, when I was working nights, I needed everything I could to like get a good night's sleep, right? Because working nights is just not natural. And if you don't, when I didn't take supplements, I'd just wake up after 2 hours, wake up after an hour, wake up after an hour. Especially considering I had so much energy, so I just needed things to keep me asleep, right? Without using like prescription medication or some nonsense like that. I wanted natural remedies, and so that's where this stack originated from. And I still use it now because it's beneficial. And for my daytime routine, I use cod liver, which is like B-roll again. It's good for my joints. Like, I literally it's probably the most key supplement, because when I don't take cod liver oil, the thing I notice first, because my knees will like kind of start to hurt, right? And that's after like a couple of days of running out. So I use cod liver oil. Right now I'm really quite esoteric with the cod liver oil I take like DHA 500 right now. I used to take DHA 1000 until I ran out. I've got EPA 1000 as well, which is probably not necessary for most people. It's like £70 for these supplements, and DHL is probably more necessary, because according to Dr. Gundry, which essentially is an author and like a brain surgeon, someone who teaches about dietitianry, right? He says that the brain is made up of like a third DHA. And so essentially, if you're supplementing DHA, it's just straight brain fuel, right? And so that's why I started supplementing it. I used to take cod liver before because it hurt. It was good for my knees. I noticed that just through my own experiences with my body. I started taking DHA 1000 specifically when I heard that from Dr. Gundry, and it seems to be quite beneficial. EPA, I just take it. I take it because obviously the DHA was strictly DHA. They had no EPA in it. Like, cod liver oil has DHA and EPA, and so essentially I just wanted EPA, but I thought if I'm having 1000 DHA, I may as well have 1000 EPA. So I ended up getting 1000 EPA. I don't really know what the benefits are. I don't think it's anti-inflammatory like how DHA is. It's got different benefits which I can't recall in this moment. Subconsciously I know about it, right? Kelp, which essentially is iodine for that thyroid function, because apparently according to my blood type, I am susceptible to like thyroid issues, which I'm not even actually sure what that manifests like. But essentially, I'm taking these kelp tablets for the iodine, which apparently is good for your skin as well. It's why I'm glowing. You know what I mean? I take kelp just for, you know, that preventative measure and just to be safe. So I do need to research about thyroid function as well and what it actually manifests as. I'm pretty sure it's like it has a role to do with mental clarity, but I'm not too sure. I'm not going to speak on that because I'm not sure. And then I take a lot of nootropics as well, like a lot of brain enhancers. Like right now I'm using rhodiola, which is like an adaptogen for mental performance. I'm using loads of supplements which are optimized for ADHD, like selene is like I think an amino acid. LPEA, and essentially I can't even recall, because these are all supplements I've just recently started taking. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me just receive these items just the other week. I know one of these tablets plays a role in like memory function. Apparently it helps loads with your memory. I don't know. So I'm taking citricholine as well. So choline is like a type of B vitamin, right? And citricholine is like a form what is especially formulated for brain function. I've got some lion's mane as well, which I actually want to run out of because I'm kind of over them, but it's also like an adaptogen. It's an adaptogen mushroom what's good for mental performance and stamina, right? I've literally had the mushroom before. It's like very similar to steak when you cook it, and it tastes so bitter. Like I had it raw one time, it's just so bitter, it's kind of gross. But as a supplement it's fine. It's a good trustworthy supplement brand, Real Mushrooms, and it seems fine. It's just one I want to run out of. I'm definitely not going to restock it when I run out. But you know, here's my supplement stack as well. Like I said, with the food and the sleep, I feel like sleep is very important. You've also got to sleep in 90-minute cycles. I don't know who told me this, but I heard it in the book The 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma, and I heard it from like a couple of YouTube videos I used to watch back in the day when I just couldn't sleep to save my life, or couldn't maintain a consistent sleep pattern, because it was something I struggled with for a while. So I learned about, you know, sleeping in 90-minute cycles. So I'd either sleep in a 6 hours or 7.5 hour total period. That's even in present tense, right? That's something I try and maintain to this day. And then we've got like a skincare routine, because obviously you want to be glowing. You know, my beard, with my hair type, it's very low porosity, so it doesn't really absorb water very well. So I've got to have products that are really light but nourishing. So like I look for ingredients with like conditioners and stuff, like marshmallow root extract, which, you know, it might be out there. I know a lot of guys don't take such an extensive approach to just different aspects of their life, but it's what I've done, right? Because I can't put black castor oil on this beard and have it penetrate. It's just going to sit on top, right? So I have this brand of leave-in conditioner by Giovanni. It is fragrance, and because I have eczema, I don't use it very often because I feel like it triggers my eczema sometimes, but I do use it from time to time, right? Right now I'm experimenting with this ointment from Epiderm, which I don't know, my girlfriend just brought it randomly from Tesco, and I put it on my beard and it penetrates perfectly. So it's formulated for low porosity hair, whether accidentally or purposely, it just works perfectly for my beard. And that's what I've been using recently. So I'm going to look on the Epiderm line. Like, I just use random stuff on my beard. Like, sometimes I use creams. Like, I used to use a Vino cream on my beard because it just works out, right? I use oils sometimes, like oils formulated or specialized for low porosity hair, so like hemp seed oil. I used to use argan oil, but I feel like it flares my eczema out, and grapeseed oil, and just lighter oils like that for the skincare side of things. I use this brand of wash right now called Hygiene, which they use like thermal spring water, which is supposed to be good for eczema, which is why I use it. It's like £20 a bottle, and it's also formulated with evening primrose oil, which is also meant to be good for eczema. I'm indifferent about whether that's true or not, because I used to use pure evening primrose oil on my like neck and like prone to eczema areas, but essentially what had happened is, because the oil's orange, right, it would stain all my clothes, and I feel like it makes me itch. So I'm indifferent, and this is just what I'm using right now because I haven't really questioned it too much. I'm not really suggesting it. I know stuff like, contrary to popular belief, but all the CeraVe line and stuff, I just can't use it, right? I can't use the CeraVe line, it's just too harsh. Like the foaming cleanser flares me out. That salicylic acid cleanser like is a no-go. Any AHA, so like, you know, chemical exfoliants like alpha hydroxy acid, beta hydroxy acid, which is, you know, salicylic acid, AHAs is just way too harsh. So any cleansers like that, any exfoliants on the eczema areas are just too harsh. But I do like to use AHA cleansers on my legs sometimes, just because it exfoliates my legs. I guess St. Ives does the same thing as well. I used to use St. Ives when I was at my parents' house. I make sure I'm moisturizing my body every day, twice a day, because I do have 2 showers a day. At the end of the day, I just target the prime area, so armpits, you know, the region, face, and sometimes beard, just in case I've been sweating since I go to the gym, and then I shower, and then, you know, I go about my day. But since I'm not really sweating that much, I'll just have a light shower at the end of the day is what I'm trying to say. And let's also touch on the gym as well. Like right now I've been incorporating cardio, because I know a lot of you mofos don't like to avoid cardio and just stick to the weights, which I think is like an erroneous way to go about training and exercise. I think cardio is more important than weightlifting. So I've been doing 5-minute cardio, just running, like 5-minute jogging, fast jogging, sprinting towards the last 30 seconds a minute, and I'm upping it over time. Right now I'm at 6 minutes, and then like maybe in a couple of weeks I'll go to 7 minutes, up to like 15 minutes, and I've been doing that just to have the cardiovascular health, right? Because I feel like that's more important than anything. There's no point being hench, muscly and aesthetically appealing if you can't walk up a flight of stairs. There's just no point, right? So I want my heart rate to be low. Like, you know, when professional athletes have like a heart rate of like 40, like I think I remember reading David Goggins' book Can't Hurt Me, and his heart rate is like 40 beats per minute or something crazy. And obviously he's running ultra marathons like 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, some stuff crazy like that, and doing crazy feats like breaking world records for the most amount of pull-ups done in 24 hours back when he did that, which was like 4,500 pull-ups, like crazy endurance, right? And so I want that level of lowness of heart rate. Right now my heart rate sits at about 60 beats per minute, I'm thinking, and it's crazy. Like the second I eat junk food, like say I have a cheat day and I eat pizza, that day you'll just see my tracking of heart rate on my Apple Watch. My heart rate will be like 60, 62, down to 55, sometimes down to 50, and then the day I eat junk food it spikes up to like 75. And as long as I'm eating junk food, it stays up around that range, which is insane, right? My current gym structure is 5 minutes, 6 minutes of cardio, and then I do about 20 minutes of weight training. I'll do push, pull, or legs, and then at the end I'm doing like intense stretches for like 10 or 15 minutes. Because I want to learn how to pancake. Like if you try, along with this video right now, you try and pancake, which essentially is like going on the floor with your legs out like that. So you're on the floor, legs like that, and then these are your hands and like your body, right? And then you try and fold over and like touch the floor like that. You try and do that and realize how hard it is. So I'm trying to learn how to pancake right now, and just overall not have back pain and just be nimble and mobile, because it's one of the most important things. I remember reading in David Goggins' book, his lack of stretching nearly caused him to die, right? Like he had such muscle tightness, it was causing like severe problems, and he was actually hospitalized, and he was about to die until he realized, like they realized that like he needs to stretch, right? And that his chronic stiffness is literally about to kill him. So stretching is really important, and so I want to have a holistic approach when it comes to gym. I want to have a holistic approach when it comes to eating, dietitianry, sleeping, and just the whole health in general. Like Benjamin Franklin said, early to bed, early to rise keeps a man healthy, wealthy and wise. You got to have a holistic approach. I remember in The Science of Getting Rich, it talks about this holistic approach to life, health, wealth and mindset. You don't want to have loads of wealth and be fat. You don't want to have loads of health and be poor, and you don't want to have a really spiritual mindset and have given up all your possessions and gone and moved to the Mecca to meditate 24/7, right? Like, you just want to have balance. I think Tai Lopez cracks it really well. He spends a lot of his time in the farm, literally just living a really slow lifestyle, farming his crops and just eating and farming his own food. And then he's out in the city crushing it as a serial entrepreneur. So you just really want to have balance and have a holistic approach to life, you know. I've talked about where my mindset is with everything going on right now. I haven't given you like a different to-do list instruction. I don't like telling people what to do. I don't want to tell you guys what to do. I just want to show you what I'm doing right now, which I understand isn't really going to prove super credible until I've started to get, you know, a lot of results. So, you know, when you're maybe watching this video in a couple of years time, I've crushed it in life, I've got great results, and I've got this video here just talking super chill on camera, being honest, being raw, throwing out damaging admissions for you to relate to what it is my story is about. Realize I'm also human too. I crave pizza just like everybody else. Like, you know, I'm just a normal guy. We're all normal. In fact, I'm not a normal guy. We're all born perfect, right? We're literally just a product of nature and nurture. Mainly nurture, right? It's environment more than anything. Started out when I was eating just pretty much chicken nuggets and corned beef and rice is what I literally used to eat when I was younger. My mum used to love corned beef and rice. She used to cook that all the time, right? And obviously coming from a Jamaican family, I used to have curry mutton sometimes oxtail. You know, it was on the right path. My mum tried. She did what was best in her ability, being a chef, right? Of like all her life she's been a chef, so she did the best knowing what she knew. Like I said, there's always information to prove that X is healthy, Y is healthy. I think just read books from lots of different angles, try out lots of different things and come to your own conclusion. That's all I've done and that's all I've shown here, I hope. I'm just trying to invite you to have that conversation of, you know, what is my overall holistic approach to health? Am I approaching it, or am I kind of ignoring it and like self-deprecating myself and making jokes out of the fact that I'm actually ignoring it? You see a lot of people do that. Like, a lot of people don't do the wrong thing and like own up to it, like, yeah, like, I'm happy I'm doing the wrong thing. What they normally do and how they rationalize it is like, oh yeah, I'm effing up right now, but like, you know, I'll get to it eventually. Or they kind of make jokes out of how bad they are towards certain aspects of life, and that's their way of like coping and justifying it, which I guess is fine. Like, I was on the train earlier today because I've been taking the train into town to go to the library to do my deep work, so I'm just not at home all the time, and I'm just around everybody. I'm just like, everybody's living their own life, right? Like, everybody's got their own reality, their own group of friends, their own clique, their own career, thoughts, shortcomings, environment, family, what they've come from, genetic makeup, all kinds of different things what everybody's got playing into it. So, you know, it really is fluid. There's different universal frameworks what you can take and make work for yourself, and there is truths out there, but you know, not everybody can do the same thing, obviously, because it doesn't work like that. So hopefully from this open conversation you can come to some conclusions of your own, or maybe I've pointed you in certain directions to like go and get more information for yourself. I'm still figuring it out myself, and yeah, what more can I say?